Miss, this is an office, not a battleground, Denise from HR said, staring straight at me. I had just handed her 14 pages of documents, every vendor I onboarded, every system I fixed, every error I cleaned up, but I didn't shout, I just nodded, like hiding a sharp blade. I was a low-level employee, patching company holes while the team debated lunch orders. Last week, I sat in the break room eating cold noodles, the smell of burnt popcorn in the air. The system was outdated, integrations a maze of lazy coding. I worked late, fixing APIs, hunting down a payment bug that cost the company $22,000 a month. My manager, Brad, was busy showing Slack emojis to the intern, clueless I had just saved the entire department. I went to HR, not asking for a crown, just a salary that matched the sweat. Denise smiled, tilted her head like waiting to hear my spirit break. We appreciate you, but we don't negotiate with low-level staff. Appreciate? When I took one sick day, the vendor portal crashed and the whole team panicked. I didn't get angry. I went home, made mint tea, opened LinkedIn. I didn't update my profile. I searched every partner who had ever worked with the company. 2 days later, a message arrived. You fixed the Q3 contract portal, right? A senior analyst from GenAxis, a major client, wanted to meet. I took a day off, told Brad I had a dental appointment. He didn't ask. At GenAxis, I drank real coffee, sat in a glass room, listened to them complain about the system my company had broken. They didn't need advice. They needed a cleaner. I already had the broom. As I left, they handed me an offer, higher title, better pay, more autonomy. More importantly, they needed me to prepare for an audit of my old company. I stepped outside, cold wind biting, but I smiled, not like hitting the jackpot, but like watching the smug trip. That night, I turned my computer into a battlefield, scrolled through job boards, targeting companies hurt by my company, failed rollouts, misbilled invoices, broken APIs. I didn't apply randomly. I hunted like a sniper. The screen filled with Chrome tabs, numbered profiles, old support tickets I had resolved but never got credit for. I wasn't going into battle, I was the weapon. Then came the email from James, systems director at GenAxis. Your name came up in old support logs. You did the real work. Can we meet? I took another day off, told Brad I had a dental appointment again. He nodded, distracted. At GenAxis headquarters, glass meeting rooms, orange juice, whiteboards still stained with past panic. James said, we're not trying to trash your company, but you were the one who fixed everything. Their system, login bugs, outdated encryption files, half-set configurations, all tied to my company. I didn't have to sell myself. They had already seen my fingerprints. I don't want conflict, I said, sipping coffee. James nodded, just exploring. The meeting ended, a firm handshake, a silent understanding. See you again. I went home, ordered takeout, didn't remember when I placed the order. The email arrived before sunrise. Official job offer, title, system auditor, nearly double the pay, right as the Q4 audit of my old company began. I didn't rush to accept. Revenge, like wine, needs time to age. I lived 2 lives. By day, I was a low-level employee, only called when the system caught fire. By night, I was a digital surgeon, dissecting GenAxis systems with cold precision. I pulled old error logs, analyzed support tickets, rebuilt the authentication chain. My desk overflowed with sticky notes like a crime map of my old company. I found outdated functions, uncommented code, deprecated libraries, patched with carelessness. Saturday, I restructured integration points. Sunday, I turned them into slides. GenAxis devoured my report. The CTO pulled me into a private Slack channel. Closed Zooms, serious eyes. They called me an expert, not low level. At my old company, Brad still had me fixing chart colors without asking where the data came from. Denise smiled in the hallway like I was harmless decor. My resignation letter sat in the move out folder, waiting. GenAxis opened the gates, trial access, a mission to find compliance holes. I was the bridge, decoding chaos without lighting fires. In a meeting, the VP of operations at GenAxis looked at me through Zoom. What if you didn't just consult? What if you led? Silence. Led the audit? Systems? Long-term compliance? They nodded. You know more than the firm we pay 6 figures a quarter. That night, the offer came. Lead systems auditor. Double the pay. I waited. I wanted to resign on the right day, the day I returned with a new badge. Wednesday, I submitted my resignation, tucked between two useless meetings. HR sent an auto email. The handover guide attachment was corrupted. I laughed alone. Brad came by, leaning on the divider, smug voice. "Jumping to GenAxis, huh? They swap staff like outfits." I gave a faint smile. "Good luck, Brad." He didn't know I was already deep in GenAxis' system, mapping every flaw his company made. I cleared my desk, took my cracked mug, self-bought keyboard, notes from Goodwill Hunting. My calendar read, Audit Day, Monday. I underlined it twice. Leaving the building, I didn't look back. Next time I'd enter through the front door, not the side. Monday, I walked in, navy blazer, clean guest badge, security waved me through, no check. In the elevator, I saw myself in the mirror, no longer tired, no longer invisible. Doors opened. Kyle from Data blinked, glasses slipping. Two engineers whispered, "Is that her?" Denise stood outside the meeting room, hugging her water bottle like a shield, eyes fixed on my badge. "Welcome back," she said, strained. "Thank you," I replied. "I'm here to audit." Inside, Greg, the one who once said I needed career maturity, spilled his coffee when he saw me. His documents were 3 versions outdated. He stammered, "Didn't know you'd be involved?" Involved? I sat at the head, opened my laptop. "I'm leading systems audit, compliance, past 12 months. Silence. I continued. "I need integration logs, support tickets, compliance certs." Denise dropped her pen. Greg flushed, trying to stay calm. I smiled, just enough to say, "I warned you, but you didn't listen." 3 days of audit, I exposed digital crimes, broken auth chains, shared login creds like birthday cake. Compliance certs expired since Obama, admin accounts left behind by ex-staff. My report had timestamps, Slack threads, undeniable proof. Thursday, the meeting room chilled. Greg chewed nails. Legal joined on Zoom. I opened the spreadsheet, vendor access Final V4 uncoded, edited by an intern, accessed from strange IPs. "Your compliance policy forbids this," I said, projecting it. Greg mumbled, "Hard to tell who's accountable." "I am," I cut in, staring. "The low-level employee, remember?" Heavy silence. I slid the file across. "Need me to notarize a statement too?" By day's end, GenAxis halted all payments to my former company pending internal review. Invoices frozen, support suspended. Their director panicked, pinging subordinates. James texted, "Nice work. Keep digging." I was just getting started. The integration folder held more secrets. Friday, Greg tried to act calm, repeating, "Isolated incident." Denise disappeared, probably hiding in HR, burning sage. Former co-workers emailed me asking for help with tickets, pretending I still worked there. Then the director emailed, "Short-term consulting contract, generous pay?" I replied, 5 times my old salary, upfront, non-negotiable. They answered within the hour, "We'll respond shortly." I smiled. They would respond. That night, old colleagues messaged, "Company's unstable. Are you hiring?" They once ignored me, now they begged for lifeboats. GenAxis tasked me to build an internal compliance team. I listed candidates, those who once overlooked me. Now they needed me, but I had a fleet. Tuesday, email went out, CC'd to all directors. Termination of vendor contract due to compliance failure. Old company collapsed. Brad posted about career pivots on LinkedIn. Greg added, "resilient" to his profile. Denise went silent. I led meetings in room 3B, where Denise once mocked me. New badge, new title, Director of Systems Integrity. My team, handpicked, reported clean data, no longer a digital crime scene. Denise walked in, escorted by GenAxis rep. I pointed to the seat across, where I once sat, hoping to be buried. I opened the folder. Title, Termination Recommendation? Compliance Failures. Her name in the middle of the page. Her hand shook, holding the paper. "We negotiate," I said coldly, "but not with people like you." I didn't need to shout. Truth was my weapon. I was once invisible. Now I'm the storm they never saw coming. Underestimated, don't bow. Find your map. In data, in patience, in yourself. Then rise, like I did, and let them face their own mistakes. What do you choose?